Welcome to The Push. My name's Steve Machine Curran.
And I'm Kev, Big Daddy Orwood.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am.
Episode 49 of The Push.
Episode 49. And
We've been unrestricted access
restrictions are being lifted.
as we speak.
That's right.
I was at Coogee this morning,
Yes.
and they've taken the barricades down.
Oh, good.
Pretty exciting.
What about Clavelli? Are they
Haven't been there yet. We'll be there on Sunday for the Turtle Stairs. Join us if you want. Turtle Stairs, running up and down like mad people, then jumping in the ocean. Best way to start your Sunday morning.
It is a good way to start the day.
It is. So hopefully, they should be barricade free as well.
Last Sunday I set my alarm for 5:30 and I tossed and turned as to whether I should get up or whether I should just stay in bed for a nice warm cuddle. And I thought, fuck it, I better go. So I got up.
You got it done.
Got it done. Feel much better.
Yes, unfortunately, didn't do that today. Slept in. I sent Kev a message last night with a picture of the skull designating death and a picture of stairs and a question mark. And the reply I got back was an emoji finger.
Fuck that. You do some ridiculous fucking 4 a.m. bullshit. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good.
No.
I had a flat tire this week.
Oh. Normally, when a man gets a flat tire, the man changes the flat tire and gets on his way.
Normally,
okay?
that's normally the
Steve's
case.
situation is a little bit different.
That's right.
See, there's normal men, right?
And then there's alpha men.
And there's alphas up here. And then Steve comes in and sort of maybe
Beat up
there.
Yeah, well, I don't judge my manliness or my masculinity by my ability to fix things. Is that really
I think there's a direct correlation.
Really?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, well, I'm failing on that. So, as Kev's implied, I got Gabriella to ring NRMA because I can't ring. But then
What do you mean you can't ring?
because then I'm a man ringing up asking to get a tire
she
fixed.
was she in the car? Or you rang her to ring them and she was elsewhere?
So, where was I?
Was she with you or not?
I can't remember. I think I dropped her at work. The car was working. The tyre was working when I dropped her at work. Got back home. That's right. She refused to ring, and said, "You deal with it."
You were back here.
Yeah.
Sorry, at your dwelling.
In the driveway,
Right.
and I chose to take the Lexus over the Lamborghini.
Right. You could have called me. I could have come and changed it.
Well, I did contemplate that actually, but I thought you'd call me a
like
faggot.
a little bitch.
Not that we use that term. I rang NRMA and I said it's parked on the street. There's a girl receptionist, and she said, and I know I've been in call center. I've worked in call centers long enough to know that because they're sitting next to people, right?
Yeah.
And she said to me, "Yes, sir. We'll definitely come out and get one of the guys to replace your tire." And I know that she was sitting talking next to someone.
So that everyone else could know that there's
Yes.
a less than a man on the other end of the phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
You
then
should be used to that, though.
yeah. Then and I waited all day and no one turned up.
Oh,
No one turned up.
really?
And so I got home. Gabriella eventually got home, and I made her ring up this time.
Yes.
And because I figured they're more inclined to do it if a girl rings. And there was a message saying the guy had rang 3 times to come out.
Oh.
And got no answer. But there was no missed calls on my mobile.
Was that yesterday?
Oh, this a couple of days ago.
Were you down in the garage training? People?
Might have been, yeah. So
that would be just there'd be no.
it would still come as a
Maybe not.
maybe not. Anyway, so eventually I had to take it to a tyre place, and it actually did need a tyre replacement anyway.
Tempe tyres?
No, I fucked it going to Tempe. I just went to the one around the corner.
Right.
Maybe you can show me one day how to change the tyre. It looks really complicated.
You've never done it?
Oh, fuck no.
No one's ever showed you?
No. I don't know. My dad used to do it.
He never showed you? He said, son, this is how you change a tyre.
No, I would have said...
Actually, I had a mate that showed me. A mate
really?
of mine who was just a genius when it came to fixing cars and shit. He'd change shit, fix shit himself when he was a teenager.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had old shitty cars.
Yeah.
Not ones with computers, old Ford Cortinas.
Yeah, that you could do that stuff with.
Yeah, and he I think he learned from his dad, and he would have these old shitty cars that would have the the bonnet would be tied down with a bit of rope and
Yeah.
different coloured doors and shit like that.
Yeah.
And when things went wrong, he'd get under
Yeah,
the hood
fix it.
and he'd fix it. Yeah.
See, my dad did that.
He taught me how to change a tyre.
Right,
And he
okay.
could change a tyre in like 2 minutes or something.
Right.
He was a genius.
We used to have a Kingswood like that.
Yes.
A Holden Kingswood station wagon.
Yes.
With, one door would be have the primer coat on it,
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was like my mate's car.
Yeah. But my dad could fix all that stuff.
Yeah, when they were mechanical machines, you could. Now, it's a
computer.
hood and it looks like a fucking laptop under there.
Yeah, mine is just a flat plastic covering.
Yeah, you don't know, you wouldn't even know what anything is.
No, even if I wouldn't know anyway.
No. It's a different story. Now the mechanics plug a computer into a port in there and it tells you what's wrong.
Yeah, okay.
Rather than going through and checking this fucking oil and...
Like,
I know very little. Much
you
more
know,
than
like, this much more than me.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I know how to change tyres and spark plugs and...
All right, and where to put the oil
in.
go.
Yeah, I know that. That's
See, I don't even know where the oil goes in the new cars.
Right.
Oh, I guess still got a screw thing, hasn't it? Has it still got a screw thing?
There'll be the dipstick, which is usually the easiest thing to find, and the
talked
oil thing is near that.
Okay.
So there'll be a lid
Yeah.
near the dipstick.
Yes.
Dipstick.
Yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah.
On a previous episode.
Yes.
I had to get my leg ultrasound today
Oh yeah.
of my femoral artery.
Yes.
This,
Femoral artery.
well,
From the
from the
thing 2
angiogram.
years ago.
Yeah. So, short story, briefly, I had an angiogram. They fucked it up. I had a blood clot. Nearly lost my leg in
8 years ago. Or something.
2010. 10 years ago.
Right. Yes.
And if
That's gone fast.
right, and then if this one goes according to plan and is fine, then I don't have to see him again.
So this is a follow up.
Yeah.
10 years later.
I had to do follow-ups every year.
Right.
And then in 2018, Dr. Varco, who fixed my leg, said, look,
Come in 2 years.
Come in 2 years, and if it's okay, I probably won't have to see you again.
Right. But probably in another 5 years or so, you should probably just have someone take No?
I think 10 years, if something was going to go wrong, it was good. I mean, I've done a lot of work.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's the sort of thing that would get stronger over time. The artery rather than weaker.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like they put anything artificial on it. It
No.
needs to be checked and
No, just stitched it up.
Yeah.
Put a vein graft, which actually...
Because what happened was the doctor cut your fucking vein, right?
Well,
artery.
they don't do them much anymore. They use like a ultrasound sort of MRI thing on your heart now. But what they used to do was they puncture your femoral artery or your arm or your I think brachial, is that an artery? Brachial, radial artery, something. Puncture it with a big needle. Put dye in through the artery, going through your heart,
Yeah.
and do it to see if there was any blockages.
Right.
There wasn't any, but that's a fairly invasive process.
Yes.
And you're not supposed to move at all then after the procedure. You're supposed to put a weight on there and just rest for a couple of days.
Oh.
So for the whole to
So you just whip it over,
yeah.
flop it over,
and the
use
weight
that
of that
Yeah.
should have been enough,
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
No. All right.
Well, I was just carrying my daily business, walking around, walking upstairs, and anyway, I've talked about it before, but the result was that clot nearly cost my leg, and Dr. Varco saved my leg via a vein graft.
Ooh.
And you see, he asked me at the time when I came back. He said, "Are you squeamish?"
Oh.
And he showed me photos of the procedure.
Oh wow.
With my leg opened up.
You can look at shit like that, all right?
I was fine. It was confronting though.
Yeah.
So you got this I don't know, the calipers or something holding my leg like a piece that square on inside my leg.
Oh wow.
And right down into the arteries and everything. Yeah. Through all the muscle into the arteries.
Yeah. Right.
But
Anyway, weird seeing your leg like that. Did it look like a piece of meat?
It looked like you know what it reminded me of when you see, I think it's Terminator, one of the Terminators with his arms opened up and you see all the, in his case it's mechanical,
yes,
but you see all the tendons and things.
Yes.
That's what it looked like.
Right.
Pretty confronting.
Right. Is it all red stuff?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. It gives you a real sense of your own mortality.
Like all the stringy bits in there.
I think that's not really the technical term. stringy bits.
All those like equivalent of Arnie's mechanical robot sinewy things.
Yeah.
Are they red in colour?
Yeah, it's all red.
Right.
So the artery, which is supposed to look like a thick hose pipe, like it's quite muscular looking, like a hose pipe.
Yes.
Mine was blown out.
Right.
And caked with a blood clot.
Yes.
So what he had to do is take a vein from another part of my leg, stitch it together, so it looked like a sausage being stitched up rather than a sleek sort of hose. And but
where did they take the other bit of vein from?
They haven't told me. Given the size of my dick, I think they borrowed
all that veinage.
They borrowed vein from there.
Yeah, right.
There's
plenty
to go around. So that was 10 years ago. So I'm hopefully closing the chapter on that today.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. You go.
It's still COVID season.
Are we okay?
Restrictions have been lifted.
I'm fucking over it. To be
Are you
honest.
really over it?
Are you over it?
Oh yeah, mate. You know what? When was it? Last weekend I went to the supermarket at Rockdale Plaza, and people were walking around like nothing.
No.
There was no risk.
Yeah.
Like people weren't really social distancing.
No, but you can't go.
Supermarkets were packed.
But you can't go to the gym.
No, you can't go to a gym.
But you can climb all over each other in a supermarket.
Is that how you do your shopping?
Yeah.
Right. So there's 4.34 million people have been affected with coronavirus.
Worldwide?
Worldwide, yeah.
Right.
4.34 million to just under 300,000 deaths.
Right.
85,000 deaths in the United States. Australia's had 98 deaths.
Yeah.
With,
is that all?
Yeah, 6,984 cases. So just under 7,000 cases.
Yeah.
And a couple under 100 deaths.
And that's Australia-wide.
That's Australia-wide. That Ruby Princess boat has had 22 deaths.
Right.
And that Newmarch house, that old age place, care place, had 16.
So that accounts for a third of the deaths.
Yeah,
between those two places.
Yeah.
So the chances actually not contracting, but just running into someone that has COVID in Australia, statistically, your chances are very, very low.
25 million, 7,025 million.
Yeah.
So 1 in...
You should be able to work that out.
7, 4 to 28.
It's not a lot.
4,000, just about.
1 in 4,000.
Yeah, just under that. Because there's not 28 million people in Australia, there's 25 million. But if you rounded that up to make the maths even.
1 in 4,000.
Yeah.
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 So your odds are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's clusters too, like those areas where it's
like
more
Bondi.
dense. But Bondi's fallen off.
Yeah.
Places out west have picked up.
Yeah.
And I think it matches a little bit like in America, where there's a cluster, a strong concentration of people getting it in big cities, but places where there's a lot of unhealthy people.
Yep.
Poorer areas.
Yep.
Lower socioeconomic areas, areas where there's a lot of people with obese people.
Obesity, diabetes. So you watched that the Rogan episode with Michael Yo?
Yeah, I'm about 15 minutes short of listening to the whole thing.
Right. Interesting. He was very run down.
Yes, he'd been travelling a
touring
lot,
hard,
flying and driving, and not really sleeping that much.
Because not a fit young guy.
Yeah,
and interesting.
He's 45 or 48 or something.
Right.
But youngish compared to the people dying. Yes.
Yes, and interestingly, he said that if he was put on a ventilator, he probably would have died.
Yeah.
80%.
His doctor wanted his body to actually work properly and fight it.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
That explanation did, but yeah. What did you say? 85% of people who go on respirators. Is that what you're going to say?
Died. Yeah.
Because that does the work for you. That breathes for you.
Why would your body come back if it's big?
Just because someone else is doing that now, and it's just sleep.
Scary.
No, I'd not heard of that fact.
No, nor did I.
Before then. 3 children in New York have died from
Oh, I didn't know that. Right.
It's sad.
Yeah.
And what about...
Do they have existing?
No, I don't know the
Right.
facts about it. I
Okay.
just know that 3 children have died.
Right.
Another recent thing is that people are protesting about the lockdowns.
It's like
and
California, yeah.
about California protests.
Yeah.
There are protests in Sydney too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
So it was about 4 or 5 days ago. Maybe it was Monday. Anyway, people were gathering in Macquarie Street protesting outside of some, I don't know, government buildings there or something.
Okay.
I'm not sure. What made the news, and what made the news all around the world, was a young mum was there with her 4-year-old son, and the cops arrested her, dragged her away from her 4-year-old son.
What?
Who's screaming.
Didn't bring the son with them.
No, they were trying to pull them
Separate
apart.
them.
Yeah, it's fucking, and that made news all over the world.
How did I miss that?
She's like saying, "Take your hands off me! I'm not doing anything." There was peaceful protest.
So why did they grab her?
Because I don't know. They reckon they had legitimate reasons.
Was she armed or something?
No, she wasn't
That's
armed.
ridiculous.
Was standing outside of a building protesting.
Wow, that makes
with a bunch of other people.
Yeah, and they
With
grabbed
a
her.
placard saying, "Don't take away our freedom" or something.
Wow.
Let us out. Get
And-
rid of the lockdowns.
And they took away her freedom.
Yeah, fucked up. There was protests in Melbourne.
Right.
People got arrested.
Right.
Turned violent against the cops.
Yeah, the violence isn't helping, but I can understand the protesting. It's just getting to, for me, it seems to... Look, there's going to be spikes probably now that they open up stuff.
Yeah.
But...
So tomorrow things are actually... Cafes are allowed to be open and
Yes.
things, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's already happening in other parts of the world.
Yes. Has there been spikes in those parts?
It's just happened this week, I think. I don't know
Right.
if it's early enough to... too early to pick up any
Yeah.
changes. But I know I read a thing this morning about in Britain when they've relaxed the restrictions. People are out, buses are jam packed,
Yeah.
as if there's no social distancing.
Well, I spoke to my brother in Tokyo. They've had to just been packed on trains the whole time anyway.
Right.
I don't know what the numbers are, but they're trying to social distance, but you can't. In Tokyo, you can't.
Yeah.
You're not...
Especially if they're cutting back on the number of trains that are running.
Yes.
And the people have to get to work, and they've got to cram twice as many people on half as many trains.
I think Sydney Trams are the way to go because you've literally got no one on them. You drive past and there's 2 people, and
So many of those trams working,
and one of them's a driver.
Right. But
Not really.
over the last 4 or 5 years, they've been putting these just for all our overseas subscribers.
Yes.
Putting all these trams, like electric trams, through the city, out to the suburbs, and disrupting major city streets for years.
Yes.
Shutting down
Years.
businesses, delays, exceeding the budget, all that sort of bullshit. But it's finally running now.
Yeah. It's a great fanfare, but no one actually is using them. I don't think.
I've seen a few people on them out
Yeah.
towards Randwick way.
Paddy's Markets. I think the Asians are using them. I don't know. They. I don't know why, but I went to Paddy's Markets with the girls, and for some reason that stopped. But Paddy's Markets was packed. Couldn't get on. Tram.
Oh, you couldn't get on the tram at that station?
2 packed. Yeah.
2-pack?
Yeah. He was actually the driver.
Busking. Ah,
He's reborn. He's actually not dead.
right.
He
Hold on, so the tram was packed.
Tram was packed.
What about
2-pack was
Paddy's
driving.
Markets?
2-pack was driving.
Was Paddy's Markets packed?
Yeah. Well, it would be he's just one of the greatest rappers of all time is driving a tram. Everyone came out.
It was inside the Paddy's Markets.
It was a big day at Paddy's Markets.
So no social distancing going on?
No, this is 6 months ago, bro.
Oh, right. I thought it was just the other day.
No.
Don't you catch the tram every day?
What?
Okay. No.
So Bianca found a dildo the other day.
What?
Bianca found a sex toy the other day.
One of yours? Where'd she find it?
I was in a cupboard,
So you're looking through the cupboards?
going through a cupboard looking for a phone which we'd confiscated.
Ah, she found something else.
Found something else.
What colour is it?
It was pink. It was pink.
And was it like a a neutral sort of shape, or was it actually a different
No, it was
ball?
a dick. It was a dick.
With veins on it?
Yeah, with veins, their head, everything. Like, to the point where it could only be that.
Right.
It could only be that. It couldn't be.
Big erect dick.
You couldn't say it was like for massage or something.
No.
So
No, because those, those like non-shaped things.
those vibrating things that all the lesbian
Lesbians
videos, and but that's mainly for the
because they don't
clitoral
want
stimulation.
They don't want to hold a dick.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So they make these neutral shaped things.
No, this wasn't. This was definitely looked like a fucking.
Was it large?
Wasn't small.
So what is like 8 inches or bigger?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't measure it.
You should know.
Why would I know?
It's yours.
Anyway. So initially she rang up. She was quite embarrassed. We were all embarrassed. I said to Gab, "You've got to talk to her. I can't talk to her about it. You've got to talk to her." So she said, when Daddy's away sometimes, she uses that.
Wow, how did
Bianca handled it really well. She said, "But does Daddy know?" And she said, "Yeah, it's okay. It's nothing to be embarrassed about." And then she said, "Which do you prefer?" Which I thought was a good question to ask.
What Gab could have said, well, I prefer them both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah,
Which does she prefer? The artificial one, of
Yes,
course.
But so I think we handled it all right.
Right.
You don't want shame around that sort of
No,
stuff.
you don't.
And
We shouldn't laugh.
Oh, it's funny.
Very serious.
It's funny, but there shouldn't be shame. You don't want to have shame around that sort of stuff.
So Gabrielle's taking her out dildo shopping next week?
That's right. So, but if she comes into our room and we've both asleep and we don't have clothes on, Bianca, we're covered up, but Bianca will say, "Did you guys snuggle last night?"
Right.
And we go, "No." She says, "Come on, you did, didn't you? You guys snuggled." And then she'll go, "Oh, gross! You're so gross." Anyway, fuck.
Yeah, you remember when you were a kid, the thought of your parents it is gross.
Did you ever walk in on your parents?
Yeah, but luckily the doona was over the top. It was just a massive big mound, so the old man was on top, and I knew what was going on, so I quickly exited. Not like I stood there.
Poor Bianca, she's going to be scarred, man.
Oh, she's walked in on you.
She walked in on us.
No cover.
No cover.
Oh.
69. Gab on top.
How long ago was
that? A couple of years ago. Gab, so I was lying.
Everyone's just
Gab's facing down that way.
Yes.
Poor thing.
She got to see the meat and veg and the asshole. At least it was clean, hopefully. She take care of that region so well.
That's right. And she,
well presented.
She said to Mummy afterwards, she said, "Mummy, do you have to do that when you have sex?"
Oh, wow. See, your daughter is so much further advanced than my son. Who are the same age.
It's probably lucky for them.
Oh, man.
But again, when it's time, at least she's going to go, yeah. But then again, she's going to be thinking about her mum and dad. She's going to go, oh my God. Poor thing. We're going to have to pay for a lot of therapy, I think. Maybe not.
Well, look, she's getting an education.
What do you do?
Far out, so that was just the one time she walked in. But
that's enough.
That is more than enough to see that. Like if it was just missionary, it's kind of explainable, right?
Yeah, there's no babies being made.
No. Well, actually, well. Oh well.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
It is what it is.
She's going to find out about that sort of stuff eventually.
Yeah.
She just knows before others. She probably went and told. No, do you think she would have gone and told?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. At least look. The positive is there's an open communication between us,
right.
And there's no shame. Like she'll joke about with us and say, she'll say to us, "You realise you've scarred me, guys."
Right.
She says all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And jokes about it.
Oh, well, she's very mature. She knows a lot. A lot more than my kids.
I've got water in my ear, man.
Sure it's water.
You know, John Meadows. You follow John Meadows?
I've watched few of his
You know
videos.
he is.
Yeah.
Heart attack, 48.
Wow.
Should you be competing?
He looked a lot older.
He did, didn't he? Should you be competing when you're 48 at a national level?
Not if he looks 60.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Well, he looks older.
Same age as you.
He looks 20 years older than me. But
Does,
I was younger.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm 51. I don't think I think I'll get younger than he does.
He looks pretty old. Yeah.
It's that grainy. We know a couple of bodybuilders that are around that age that have the same sort of look at the gym, and they don't look like they're long for this earth.
Yeah. Well, I think long-term steroid use has a big factor. If people who use a little bit long-term, probably in a pretty good health situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like bodybuilders from yesteryear, 60s and 70s, who dabbled and then probably continued to dabble as they got older.
Yeah, most of them are right.
Yeah, but the ones
People like Robbie Robinson, he's in his 70s now.
That's right.
Yeah.
The ones who went hard in the paint.
Hard in the paint.
The ones who fucking went hard with it.
Yeah.
At a young age, and these young bodybuilders who die from heart attacks in their 20s and 30s. It's.
I think especially if they've gone the recreational route at the same time. People like Vince Comerford. Remember Vince Comerford?
I do.
My height, jacked, big cokehead as well.
Right.
Yeah, doesn't end well. Yeah.
Rich Piana too.
Rich Piana.
Similar sort of situation, right?
Yep. David Dirth, I think, is a bit like that.
We know.
Did David Dirth die? Yeah.
He did. We know our mate too, who had a heart attack at a young age because he was taking all sorts of everything, including steroids and all sorts of party drugs.
Yes.
And then knocked everything on the head. Found God.
Who's that, mate? Who's that one?
Q.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, drinks a few beers.
Does he?
Yeah, he drinks a lot of beers.
Right.
Started training again, which is good.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, another one. We know another one that was dabbling with some with the Colombians, but also taking about 30 Dynabol a day. Had a heart attack. Had 2 heart attacks.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you do, but I'll tell you off camera. But anyway, yeah, John Meadows. Hope he's all right. You can't go back. Like, that's a big message to give it up.
Yeah.
You don't get another go. It'd be really interesting to see what his
story is afterwards.
Yeah.
What he says.
Yeah.
He's pretty open about everything.
He is very open. And he reckons he does sensible amounts, but his sensible amounts for a pro level is still 1,000 milligrams of testosterone a week.
Yeah, right. Is that a lot?
That's a bottle. That's what's that? What's in a bottle? 10, 250 milligrams. So it's half a bottle. So that's half a week. No, it's half a bottle a week. So 4 mils a week is 1,000 milligrams. Anyway,
I don't get it.
Yeah. So
when you say 10 mils and 1,000 milligrams, I don't.
All right. Well, one milliliter is a measure of liquid.
1 mil, yeah.
1 milliliter.
How much in a bottle?
Yeah,
one of those
vials. 10 milliliters. So each milliliter has 250 grams. Milligrams of testosterone usually.
Right. So there's 10 mils.
Yes, there's 2,500 milligrams in a bottle. So they're using about half a bottle a week.
Oh, right.
So it's a decent way.
All right. Now you've explained it. I get it now.
So I wonder if he's going to be like. Your assumption would be he's got 2 teenage kids. Your assumption would be he's going to quit it now and get fit.
Right. Yeah. Take a leaf out of Dorian's book.
Yeah. Start doing mountain biking.
People don't know.
No.
Remember Luke Wood?
Yeah.
Aussie. He had kidney problems.
Yeah.
And he continued to take steroids after he had scares and then a transplant.
Well,
I know that the kidney didn't take.
No, but prior to that, as you said, his kidneys were fucked. He had a big break from things and got off them. His kidney levels were coming back to normal,
right?
But couldn't stand being small.
Yeah, see, that's it. He was a huge boy,
big man. But when I think
he was young, man, 35 or something.
Yeah,
that must be almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, having kids helps. I think helps to It did with me.
Ground you a little bit.
Eventually forced me to realise
there's more to live for.
And we're not even if you don't have a regard for your own safety, it's just very selfish.
Yes.
You know, you shouldn't deprive your kids of having a father. I think that's what.
No.
Even if you don't have self-care for yourself, you have to actually say, okay, I can't behave like this anymore because I'm going to risk my daughter not having a father.
Yeah, well, it's real.
Yeah.
All right. Did you hear about, I'm changing the subject.
Yeah,
Did you hear about the 19-year-old fellow in New Mexico who found bundles of cash next to a money machine? Like
an ATM.
next to an ATM, yeah, like
Bundles of cash.
$200,000 cash, like all bound up, like it had fallen out of a van or something.
No. What happened?
He handed it in to the cops.
It's probably drug money though.
It was $206,000. No, it was all bundled up like out of like it was.
I've been like,
Actually, you know what? I think they don't know where it had come from. Maybe it was drug money. But he found $206,000. He handed it in. They gave him a $500 reward.
19. Why wouldn't you at least hand her in? No, you just wouldn't. It sounds like a movie though, because that's what happens. You keep the money, and then there's a knock on your door a week later from like a Mexican cartel or something. How do you? It's not like you can't put it in your bank.
No, you wouldn't put it in your bank. You just live off it. I've lost so much money in my life that I would not hand that shit in.
No, I don't think I would either. I would. You know what I would do? I would keep it and just store it somewhere for about 6 months. Not touch it for 6 months.
Any for 6 months?
Yeah, because then when the Mexican cartel come to your door with a fucking Uzi, right? And you can say, "Oh, here, sorry."
Right.
But if they haven't turned up in 6 months, you're probably good to go.
Right.
Then you're buying a fucking. No, I wouldn't buy a flash car. That'd be bad.
You'd spend
Just
all
live
day
on
in
it.
one go in a flash car. Don't worry about that.
No, you just live off it. Live off it.
Yes.
Carry on as normal.
Yeah.
But pay everything in cash. Can't do that. I was Mother's Day the other day. I was looking to buy Gabriella some perfume, and because I'm always stacking cash, because I went to David Jones.
They wouldn't accept the cash.
They wouldn't
payment?
accept cash
Because of COVID.
because of COVID.
Right.
COVID
They
cash.
don't want to handle cash.
So I had to go to Chanel and pay fucking $40 more.
You know how, you probably don't know, drive-through restaurants, McDonald's and all those, KFC and stuff. I was eating KFC.
Oh, man.
They're only open for drive-through and takeaway. No dining in.
Sure.
They would only accept card payment, no cash.
Macca's here accept cash.
Oh, do they?
The drive-through at
The
Macca's.
drive-thru?
Yeah.
How would you know that?
No, not for me, because Bianca
Right.
gets it as a treat sometimes.
Oh, well, okay, then it's not all McDonald's, then just the one I went.
So that guy, who gets to keep the cash then? The coppers. That's
Yeah.
bullshit. That's some bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah, he was just... Yeah,
How old was the kid?
19. $500.
$500. That's pathetic.
They took a photo, like a press photo of him and the cop handing him one of those big giant checks, you know? There's
For
like
$500?
For $500, yeah.
That's so fucking cheap, man.
It is cheap.
It probably wasn't. Yeah.
But it was like neat and wrapped and like tied up bundles.
Unless it was 500,000, and they made it. He made a deal with the cops. We'll keep 100. You keep 100,
And we'll turn the rest.
and we'll return the rest. That'd be the way to do it.
Cops couldn't risk doing that because if it got out, they'd be in massive trouble.
Yes. Just change the subject, unless there's something else to do.
No, that's just that.
So you finished that book, The Lebs.
Oh yeah, it's in my car actually.
What do you think?
Yeah, it was.
Is he gay or is he like?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
He doesn't. He's mentioned
Confused.
a lot of times that he was questioning.
He's confused.
Yeah,
definitely. But I don't know if
The
that's.
second half of the book is so different to the first half.
Yeah.
The first half lays the groundwork as to how he was raised, the people he grew up with at school, and the whole.
And then it seemed to go off on a tangent where it was like it was a different book.
Yeah.
doing the art thing.
Yeah, that whole.
And becomes a boxer, like out of nowhere becomes a boxer, and like
really?
legit boxers, like beating people up.
Amateur fights. Yeah, all of a sudden that kind of came. Yeah,
It was the boxing thing wasn't even a necessary. Like, it's a cool subplot, but he could have saved that for another book, to be honest.
If he'd been bullied throughout the first half and had said that he didn't like it happening and wanted to change something, wanted to make a difference, wanted to improve his physical whatever, and then blended that boxing to come in then, but he basically just that came in hard as soon as he left school.
Came hard in the paint.
Started boxing and got all arty going to that drama class thing. Those other people in that drama class were a bit weird, weren't they? The way they carried on.
Man, I did performing arts. I went to did uni with people like that.
Right.
Hairy underarms.
Stinking.
Just smell. Yeah, literally smelling either of BO or what's that hippie fucking fragrance? Sandalwood or something, or you know what hippie smell like?
Yeah, I don't know, like.
I don't know, something.
Potpourri.
Some sort of shit
like that. Potpourri.
I could relate to that. Even. It's rare, look, because I went down. I was I was going hard in the paint with acting and stuff, and it never occurred to me to start fighting and doing boxing. If you're going that way, you're probably not gonna. Oh, then again, some people are arty, and a lot of people do in jiu-jitsu. I mean, Guy Ritchie is a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
And what's his name? The actor. He was Venom, the character, and he's in the movie Warrior, where he's an MMA fighter.
Oh
Good
yeah.
guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The English actor.
I don't think he's English.
Played the Cray brothers.
He was Mad Max. Yeah, Cray Brothers, Mad Max. Is he English?
Yeah, he's English.
Right. He does jiu-jitsu as well.
Right.
Anyway,
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, good actor.
Hard to get that name
You
out.
know what, man? I'm fucking losing. I'm actually losing short-term memory. It's going. Seriously, it's going. So speaking of books, I'm rereading a great book called Leviathan, which is
Leviathan.
Yeah,
it's a drug, isn't it?
No, Leviathan is a large beast, like a big, but it's in reference to the growth of Sydney right from the first fleet up until modern day. It's a great book. Goes through right from the killing of Aboriginals right through the razor gangs in the 20s, right through blah blah blah. Great book. Talking to our friend Lonnie Frangos.
Didn't know that was his last name.
Yes. Yeah, Lonnie, the Spartan warrior, and we were just discussing the first fleet, and he told me a story, and you can probably answer this. The word mate, right, comes from the Aussie word mate, the use of the word mate. I thought it came from he said it comes from around the first fleet. I thought it came from they say the mate on a ship is like a position. First mate, second mate, whatever. He, on the other hand, and it may be because he's Greek, I don't know, but he said that it's the convicts that are chained together were very close to each other.
Yeah.
And they sort of basically became sexual partners.
Oh, really?
And they would refer to the person that they were banging as their mate.
Oh, because they were mating.
Because they were mating.
No way.
And and he so.
I'm reading that book about the First Fleet.
Oh, you are too, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's pretty synchronistic because I am as well.
I paused. Well, yours seems to be that it starts. Your book starts when mine, roughly when mine would end. Because this is about the First Fleet and the build up to coming to Australia and so forth.
Right, interesting.
The journey, and I've kind of paused that book and I read your book.
Right.
And put the other book down. I haven't read any for a few weeks.
Right.
But where I read up to was that they were just looking for the place to where they're going to park all the boats.
Because they went to Port Botany first, didn't they?
Yeah, but then they went up the coast a bit to wherever I went on holiday, Port Stephens, and checked that out and come back down. Anyway, that's where I'm up to, but I'm only about halfway through.
Yeah.
But there's no mention of any convicts getting it on with male to male convicts. There's plenty of action with the female convicts. But that's with the ship's officers and
The
stuff.
ship's officers had their way with all of them. They had just a free reign.
Because there's sailors on the boat. So
Yes.
there's the top ranking people in the boat, the captain and all those ranking people who ate all the best food and sat in separate dining chambers and ate like roast pig and stuff. And then there's a bunch of workers who work on the boat, sailors.
Yeah.
The sailors were getting it on with the female convicts.
Right.
And then there's the convicts who are down underneath the decks with all the animals on top, shitting down on top of them.
So they weren't getting any.
No.
So
So maybe they were, but there's no mention of that.
Well, that's not. They're not going to really talk about it, are they? Lonnie says that that's where the phrase "never leave a mate behind" comes from, or "never leave a mates behind."
Well, they had to leave. They had to exit the behind at some point. You know?
Maybe they did, and it changed them. Wasn't in that first fleet was a fucking horror show, wasn't it? Everyone's people dying.
People would fall off.
Yeah,
They just let them. They couldn't get them.
They don't want to turn around.
No.
And like you said, the sheep, the animals, just food, shit dropping through the.
Well, they picked up a bunch of animals on the way. From South Africa.
South Africa, yeah.
And they had to make
Pack them in.
Make some gates, some what's it called? Pens.
Yes.
On the deck of the boat to put them.
Yeah, because they had no other
Goats
space.
and chickens and fucking cows and pigs, and they would shit on the deck, and it would go through.
Yeah, especially in the rain.
The convicts. Yeah.
So just this toxic fucking and then
Imagine
rotting
how
food.
foul. And they weren't that fucking clean in the first place.
No, well, it had all of the human feces and everything down there as well.
The English weren't that clean.
Oh,
keeping
I
clean.
see what you mean.
know,
Yeah,
they didn't bathe very often.
No,
So,
and that was the like even the like the upper echelons weren't that clean.
No, that's right.
They just probably powdered themselves, put some perfume on.
yeah, and they were full of fucking disease and fucking syphilis and gonorrhea and
Which again killed people
fuck.
and wiped, as you know, later wiped out a whole heap of Aboriginals as well.
Right, I think that was the case in all native populations around the world, the Indians and the,
So thanks, Lonnie, for that.
So where did he give you that information from?
I don't know.
That's where the word mate comes from. Or did you make it up?
No, he didn't. There's actually a museum of sorts on Cathedral Street in Woolloomooloo about the First Fleet. So we were going to check it out. He said he found it from there.
Mate. Well, it's weird that they've... Well, I suppose, over a couple 100 years that can... 150 years.
I don't know. I think it sounds more like a sheep. Sheep. Why did I say sheep when I looked at you then?
Sounds more like a what?
A shipping thing, like first mate, second. Surely that's more likely.
I'm going to look up the origin of the word mate.
All right. I was looking at your Insta the other day, and I missed it, but all this fucking plastic straws all over the beach.
My cardio on the beach.
That's terrible.
Thousands of them, or hundreds anyway.
Terrible.
Yeah,
I didn't realise that.
mate. That was obscene.
What beach? La Perouse.
No. Brighton, just next to Brighton, just after the
airport. It's the nudist beach, isn't it?
No, it's not the nudist beach. It's a really calm beach. There's not very many waves there, so lots of families go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The photo showed just
whenever there'd been like a stormy storm.
Yeah, stormy storm.
Rough weather.
Right.
The night before, there'd be so much shit washed up on the beach.
It's terrible.
It's really bad. Really
bad. Yeah.
Plastic bags, things that have fallen off boats. Lots of different plastic lids. Lids were another big one. So like Coke bottle lids.
Right.
Hundreds of them, but way more straws.
So people must just you drink a drink and then just throw it on the floor.
How the fuck does the straws get into the ocean? I don't know, but there was literally areas on the beach where there was hundreds.
Yeah, I saw the photo. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Did it make you buy some metal straws? Because I use a metal straw. As you know, I use a metal straw when I. Do you drink out of straws?
No, we have straws.
All right. So when you buy, what happens when
you have straws at home?
When you buy a protein drink? Well, actually, the gym has now changed to paper straws.
Yeah.
What would you do with a straw normally?
Put in the bin.
Yeah. There's people that just don't do that basic thing. I think it's the smokers who throw their cigarette butts on the ground. So it's the same as that behaviour.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. If you're going to smoke, just at least have the courtesy of stubbing it out and putting it in a rubbish bin.
Yeah.
So at least it gets to landfill rather than to the ocean.
But they literally, most smokers,
Throw it on the footpath.
large percent of smokers flick it on the ground.
They throw it on the
That's
on the regular
shit.
ground, but if they think a little bit, they'll put it in
In
the
the
gutter.
gutter. That's a
so that
shit.
it gets washed out to sea.
Yeah, that's a shit go. That's a shit go, people, if you're doing that and you're a smoker.
Yeah.
Oh, gets me mad, Kev.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not cool.
Buy some metal straws, that's what I do.
Littering at all is not cool.
No, it's not. I don't do it.
At some stage, you're going to come across a rubbish bin.
Yeah.
Whether it's half an hour later, when you get home.
Absolutely. It's
there
not that hard.
There is going to be a bin that comes into your vicinity.
Especially if you're in your car. Just keep it in your car.
In a plastic bag.
Until you fucking find a bin. It's not that hard.
I see people throw shit out of their cars, windows.
Yeah. If I'm walking near someone and they drop something, and it looks like someone that wouldn't be able to beat me up. Let's be real. I'll say to them, "Oh mate, you dropped that."
And do they ignore you or do they pick it up?
I've had varying responses. Sometimes I'll pick it up and go, "Oh, it's alright, I'll get that."
Yeah.
Yeah, shit go. It's sort of on the level. It's not. This isn't as bad, but you know what? I also, while we're on the subject of things that I get resentful about, selfish parkers.
Yes.
Mainly a female thing.
Overlapping where it means that the second car can't get in. Where if they've parked considerately, another card for them. Yeah, I had that just the other day at a fruit shop.
Selfish parking.
Yeah, I couldn't fit on either side of it.
Yeah, I think it's more. I think women more so than men.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
I don't know. I haven't seen the culprits.
I've
asked people to move.
Yeah.
Like even the ones that I saw the other day, it was parallel parking, right? And then there was a fence. Right. So the person in the last two spots, they'd parked over the line, so you couldn't fit on either side.
Yeah, that's.
But I've also seen it when where it's parking along the edge of a road, and there's markings, and they stop like 2 meters back from the markings, so that they only leave half a car space behind them, and then there's the end of the parking. Yeah. So I've actually asked those people to move forward. If you move forward another meter, then I can park behind you.
Yeah. Some people are okay with it. They go, "Oh, sorry."
Oh, every time I've asked someone, they've moved.
Right.
But if there's no one in the car, you can't do shit about it.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
They do tend to do that. The other thing, and this is, so you have a partner, she's female. When she turns the corner in a car, does she turn the corner with her hand inside the steering wheel like this? Normally 10 to 2, you feed the steering wheel, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. Every man knows that. Women, Gabriella included, and what I noticed on the road is that women will, if they're turning left, they'll go like this. They'll turn, that's the right hand, and they'll turn like that. You haven't seen that? Grab the inside of the steering wheel, turn like that.
Yeah, I have seen it, but I couldn't tell you about.
Oh man.
I don't think she drives like a fuckwit like that.
Most women do. They turn, and then of course, then if they've got to quickly go back the other way, it's very hard to do that.
Right, their hand's locked in the wrong spot.
And then if you got to,
it almost gets tangled up in the steering wheel.
Yes. So I think that movement, that's why, because they're just used to doing that. Why else? I mean, so it's just that fundamentally comes very easily, or just familiar. It's very familiar to women to be doing this.
Really?
That's the only thing I can base it on.
Isn't it more familiar to men to be doing that?
Oh, good point. Maybe it's. Yeah, see, I'm more doing this. I don't know what that means. That's how you turn the car.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a conundrum.
How would they have gone back in the day before there was power steering? When you'd have to actually turn 4 times.
That's what they would do. They would just. I've watched Jade when she drives next. She's got that big fucking 20 troop carrier.
Yeah. Oh, I have to mention this before we go. It's I was on TV there. It was about a week ago. I was watching TV the other night.
You're on TV,
and I was scrolling through, and this show came up, and it was called "Sex Slaves of the Catholic Church."
Oh wow!
right? And I started watching. I was like, oh, what's this? And there were women on it, right? And
they've been sex slaves.
We never hear about this, but
Women being fiddled.
dirty fucking priests who fiddle
straight.
with little boys, right?
Yeah.
There's also filthy fucking priests who would rape the nuns. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
This is widespread.
Really?
I swear, I watched this in absolute astonishment, right? They were interviewing nuns and ex-nuns, they were all ex-nuns actually. They would ask a young nun to meet them in the fucking chapel or in some room, and then they'd like put their hand on their knee, and then eventually they'd ask them to undress, and they would have sex with nuns. And I was watching the show, and it happened there was examples of nuns that worked in Germany, France, Italy, and Canada. And there were priests who did these sorts of things for decades.
That's terrible.
And they would do it repeatedly with multiple nuns. And these nuns, not only were they told by the priest that this will bring you closer to God and all this bullshit, right? They were so scared to say anything because of the shame of breaking their vows of chastity. They were virgins before this ever happened.
Of course.
Shame, and think that it would bring their faith into question, and not speaking out against the church, and all these like mind control things.
Well, I guess you could say, as a priest, you'd say, look, you're married to God, and I'm a representative of God.
That's what the sort of shit they said.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the sort of shit they said. They offered spiritual guidance, but in a different way. This is what this is the sort of things they were saying. Yeah, bring you closer to God. The reason they could put this show on is because the priests have actually died of old age, and they could talk about it. There was a guy called Father Thomas, who, it's just obscene. There was one place where there were 50 nuns, and 32 of them had to have abortions.
Jesus.
It just went on and on.
And it'll be still happening now.
Probably.
For sure.
There was this one guy, Father Thomas, it was in Italy or France or something. He had gone up in front of the Pope in the Vatican in 1952 for getting in trouble for doing things, right? And instead of defrocking him and banning him, they just sent him off to some other country.
Different area.
In 52. And the woman the main one who was talking, it happened in the 2010s. So 60 years
the same
worth.
guy?
The same guy.
Wow.
60 years worth of having sex with nuns, raping them. It was just crazy. And that guy had disciples of his own, like male priest disciples who do the same thing. That's right. One has been caught, and he basically said, Father Thomas taught me.
Wow.
It was just terrible.
Catholic Church.
It was shocking.
You've got a lot to answer for.
But we don't know about this. We know about the boys. We don't know about the nuns.
Yeah.
Thousands of them.
That's heavy.
It is heavy.
Yeah. You wonder how. Yeah. Look, if it's been happening that long, it's happening now for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they keep their mouths shut because they don't want to have their faith questioned.
That's
and all
right.
that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrible.
Where was this on?
Oh, and it was on SBS.
Right.
SBS of Iceland. There was
Iceland's good.
The young one. There was a young nun in her 30s now that had worked for 8 years, and that she was offered a cash payment to keep her mouth shut when she left. 3,000 euros. She worked for 8 years for zero income as a nun,
and now
she thought, 3,000 euros, I can start a new life and get on with things. And a couple of years later, she was like, no, fuck it, I'm talking.
Yeah.
After she'd gotten out.
Yeah, good on her.
So she took the money, started a new life, but then she
$3,000 not much for that sort of torment.
No. Obscene. Really obscene.
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard of that, and no one thinks about that with the Catholic Church. They think all the priests are banging little boys, but they're not all. Obviously, they're not all predatory pedophiles against
children. No,
children or boys.
They're just. But they're supposed to have taken the vow of chastity as well. They're supposed to not have sex.
No,
and these guys are shagging left, right, and centre.
But the whole format of this.
That's ridiculous.
The chastity, vow of chastity, celibacy, it's not sustainable.
No, it's not. And, okay,
You had a vow of chastity?
Yeah. For 18 months when I was a teenager, I had no sex. But you're not supposed to touch it with your hand either. In that vow of chastity, I broke that.
I think that's all right, isn't it?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think they.
Well, let's use the story about the priests would put their hands in. I've told you that would put their hands in the holy water because it would be ice cold, and then they'd use that hand because it was numb.
Really?
No, I'm just making it up. No, I read that. I thought you had a vow of chastity moment.
No. What was I going to say then?
I've got do you know what?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember. I was watching when watching the TV show Vikings. I don't think you've seen that, but I watched the whole thing. Loved it.
Yeah.
That was in like 700 AD or something, 800 AD around there, when Vikings were invading England.
Yeah.
And they invaded churches, and they took all the gold and all the decorations and stuff.
Yeah.
And around that time, sometimes there was like, sometimes there'd be a Viking child that was raised by the Catholics, and sometimes there'd be a Catholic priest that would be taken by the Vikings, and there were Catholic priests then who were not. They were having sex with women.
Right.
Like it was.
Oh, it was okay.
They were fighting with swords as a priest.
Right.
And also having sex with women.
Okay.
That vow of chastity thing must have come in later.
Okay.
Must have been something they brought in.
Well, that wouldn't have been in England. That wouldn't have been the Catholic Church, though, would it?
What? 800 AD?
I don't know.
They were priests. They were doing the cross.
Okay.
Crossing themselves.
Okay.
But you say it's not sustainable, and I agree it's not. But at some point that came in as a thing.
Yes.
I don't think it was a thing from the beginning.
Right. Yeah. Because the Church of England doesn't have that rule. You can marry. You can marry. And I think they even have gay priests in the Church of England now, in the Anglican Church.
Yeah. Right. Yes. So it's an
archaic rule. It's crazy.
It is crazy, and like you said, it's not sustainable.
Do you know what Latinx means?
Latinx.
I was watching a interview with Stephanie Beatriz. She's one of the coppers, hot Latino cops on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Right.
You ever watch that show? Bianca loves it.
I know it, but I don't.
Funny show. Good funny show. It's got Terry Crews, the big black guy.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Oh, yes, I have seen it.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Seems cool. So she's bisexual in real life.
Right.
And so she's... I don't know why you have to be bisexual and be woke. Like, why the two things have to go together. But... So she refers to herself not as a Latina, but as Latinx.
Oh, yeah.
Because Latina and Latino are obviously gender specific.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to be referred to.
Right.
So she is Latinx, non-gender specific Latino.
Okay, there you go.
Just thought there's a bit of education for us today. Don't, if you see a Latino woman who's bisexual, she is Latinx, not Latina. I guess.
Well, maybe.
Maybe it could be Ozex.
Is that just something she's come up with herself?
No, it's a thing. It's a thing,
right.
apparently. It's like gender pronouns.
All right.
Confusing.
That's episode 49.
That's the world we live in today, people. I'm Steve Machine Curran.
Yeah, Big Daddy Allwood.
You need to like, subscribe, tell your friends, okay? And one thing you may not know, until we work out the audio version of this, if you pay for premium YouTube, you can get ads free and of course download content. So you could download this ad free and listen to it at your leisure. So next time you're going for a power walk, you could listen to us tell you about
The facts of life.
The facts of life.
COVID and dildos.
COVID and dildos. That's what's up.
That's what the people need to know, Steve.
That's what they need to know. Peace out.